Hi, welcome to this essentials practice. I'm calling it SMOOSH. Most of what we think about yoga is stretching and strengthening, but compression in the body, so the wringing out of the tissues, squeezing of the tissues, it allows blood and lymph to flow, and it's actually a really integral part of our interior life, especially from the fluid perspective. So most of what we're going to do today is back body. Especially if we're sitting up for a long time, the back body tends to get caught long, and to smush it, to engage it, is going to actually bring us more upright. And so we'll be doing that, but we will pair that with some cross-functional work and some abdominal strengthening to squeeze and wring out our organs as well. So yeah, let's get started. Lie on your back, and you're going to lie face up with your arms next to hips, and your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor. So take a deep breath in. Big exhale. And you're going to take one knee out to the side. So it's like a half Baddha Konasana. Press that knee toward the floor. And on the same side, that arm reaches down. So you're now squeezing outer hip, and you're squeezing the side body as well. That's your inhale. And then exhale, you come back to center, and you try that on the other side. Other knee presses toward the floor. So you're squeezing, smushing the outside hip, and the same side arm slides down, so you're also squeezing your low back and lateral line. And go back and forth like this. I usually inhale into the squeeze, and exhale, come back to center. Inhale into the squeeze, knee toward the floor, slide your arm kind of forward and out. Exhale. And we're going to add one knee toward the floor, arm slides down. Your other foot now lifts into like it's a very lame attempt at bridge, but really you're squeezing the whole back body. So you squeeze the low back, draw your shoulder blades into the back, and exhale, you come back to the center, and you try that on the other side. Knee toward the floor, arm reaches diagonally forward, and then you're going to press the other foot down, squeeze the muscles in your low back. So that's your inhale, exhale, you come back to center, and go back and forth like this another few times at the pace of your breathing. So the squeezing, the wringing out of the hips and low back, that's on inhale, so you can breathe in the belly. Exhale, come back to center, and you do the same thing on the other side. One knee toward the floor, opposite foot presses into the floor, and the arm reaches diagonally forward and down. You can arch your back here. Exhale, come back to center. Go back and forth like this another few times. You might be able to find your own ways too to squeeze the muscles of the back body. Of course, this is stretching out the front, right? None of this work is exclusively one thing or the other. So we're both stretching and squeezing. Okay, great. And you come back to center. From here, draw right knee into chest. Extend your other leg forward, and you're going to take it over for a twist. So we're twisting to one side. Whichever knee is coming across, that arm reaches out opposite direction. Arch your back here a little bit, and then exhale. Turn your heart away from the bent knee. And there's two more breaths here. So we're wringing out our guts, as well as breathing into abdomen. Okay, and then exhale, you come back to center, switch sides, draw other knee in, press opposite heel forward, and you take the knee across. Doesn't have to get to the floor. And as your knee gets toward the floor, other arm reaches in the opposite direction. So we're wringing out abdomen. Breathe a few times here. Okay, and you come back to center, and that's option number one for the twists again. Draw your first knee in, take it across. Option number one is the twist. Option number two, if it's available, you can bend your bottom leg, your straight leg, reach down and take hold of it. And if you can do this, you can also use a strap if you'd like, but you can squeeze your shoulder blade into the back, arch your back, and the foot that you're holding, press out to the side. If you can't hold the foot, you can still bend the knee and drive your heel out. If you're able to hold the foot, you can go ahead and hold the foot. So you're squeezing back body. So this is a twist, wringing out organs. It's also a back bend, smushing the back body. Take a deep breath in. Okay, great. And you come out of that, release. And same thing on the other side, knee into chest. You take it across. This is option number one. If this feels like where you want to be, you can stay here and enjoy the twist. If you'd like to include some back bending here, you can bend your bottom leg. Reach down with your arm, squeeze your shoulder blade into the back, arch your spine. And you can either press your foot out, either holding it with your hand with the strap or even not holding it. You can still slide the leg back, squeeze the muscles in your low back, squeeze your shoulder blades. And there's several breaths here, cat pulling its tail. Okay, very good. And then release from there. You can lie face down. I'm going to change directions, orientation for demonstration purposes, but you can just lie belly down. And we're going to salute to a side. So we're going to start with the right. Right hand on top of left. And you're going to paste, it's like you glued your arm, your hand onto your forehead, and you're going to squeeze your right shoulder blade, back bend and twist to the right. So you're squeezing back body. Open the heart center up toward the ceiling as far as you can. And then exhale, come back down. And repeat that right side several times. Inhale, heart opens up toward the ceiling. Press your hip down into the floor. The hip's going to want to go with you. Press your hip down. Inhale is the back bending twist. Exhale, you come back to the floor. And try this another few times. And one more time, saluting to the right. And then exhale, you come back down. Take a breath here, head on the floor. Curl your toes under and press your heels back. Breathe in the abdomen. Notice the after effects on your right shoulder. And then take your left hand on top of right. You've now glued forehead to hand. And as you inhale, draw your shoulder blade in, and you're going to salute to the left. While that left hip's prone to lift. Keep it down as you lift your heart. That's your inhale. Exhale, you come back down. And you repeat that several times. Breathing into the twist and the back bend. Exhale, relaxing to the floor. So feel, of course, we're getting some kind of stretch on the front body and the front of the arms. But you can focus on the squeezing of your back body. So especially if you're caught in a rounding situation, if you're working all day on the computer, spine tends to round. This is going in the opposite direction, and we're squeezing the tissues that are caught long when you're kind of hunched forward in a chair. So one last time here, take a deep breath in. And exhale from there. You come back down, curl your toes under, press your heels back, breathe in the abdomen. And then from here, take your hands by your sides, around shoulder height, but maybe a little wider. And the idea here is you're going to press your hands into the floor and squeeze your shoulder blades into the back. So this is going to give you openness on the front body, compression in the back, and you can either stay here in a type of, like with the arms a little bit further out. It might give you a little bit of squeezing the shoulder blades together. It accentuates the retraction of the shoulder blades, so you're smushing between the shoulder blades. You can either stay here, or if you'd like, you can also interlace your fingers behind you and squeeze your shoulder blades together that way. But if that's not available, hands on the floor, a little wider, it encourages the shoulder blades to squeeze towards center. Breathe here. Take a deep inhale. Exhale. And twice more. Breath in. Big exhale. And one last. Okay, great. And then from there, release up to hands and knees and toward sitting on the heels. So if this feels too intense, you can always take more weight on your hands, less weight on knees. But if it feels okay, we're going to squeeze. This is essentially stretching the front of the legs by squeezing the back of the legs, particularly the calves. If you're able to sit toward the heels, you can squeeze the calves a little. Okay, and you kind of stay here. If it feels okay, you can also set upright. Okay, pause here for a moment. If your hands are down, you can get a hand stretch with your hands on the floor. If you're sitting upright, you can get a palm stretch by pressing your palms forward or up. And you can do that for another few breaths here. So here, palms facing up. Or if you can't get all the weight on your heels, you come forward somewhat and stretch your palms that way. 2 more breaths. Take a big inhale. Big exhale. And one last time, breath in. Okay, great. And then you come forward, extend one leg back and squeeze and release the muscles around your knee a few times. So squeeze and release, squeeze and release. And after a few times on one side, other leg goes back, squeeze your knee, the muscles around your knee, and release. Squeeze and release, squeeze and release. One more time, squeeze and release, and come up to a cross-legged seat. I'll be mirroring you, so take your right, this is my left shin, but take your right shin in front of your left. And first we're going to slide the sitting bones back. If this is enough stretch on outer hips, that's fine. To get some squeezing of our lower abdomen, you can take your hands, instead of forward, reaching forward, take your hands out to the sides. You can almost like push your hands forward to round your spine. So you push your hands down, you can use your arms to facilitate the rounding of the spine. And since we're squeezing the front body, you can also draw your navel in. So since we're squeezing front body, breathe into back body. And there's a few breaths here. So this is distinct from lengthening the spine forward and getting a hip stretch. Although if you like to do that, that's fine. But in terms of squeezing, compression, the spine rounding, the chin tucking helps squeeze abdominal organs. And then inhale, you come up. Lean back a little bit, switch your legs. All right, hands out on either side, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, draw your navel in. And since there's a lot of compression on the front body, you can breathe into the back body. And twice more here. Okay, great. And you come up from there and back to hands and knees. Right foot forward. And this is going to be a relaxed lunge. So the back knee is going to stay on the ground. You're going to relax your hips toward the front foot. And then from here, we're going to twist to the right. So your left hand can stay on the floor. Right hand to thigh. From here, roll your belly up toward the ceiling. So you're twisting to the right. And you're going to squeeze your right thigh into your guts. So it's a pretty robust twist. It's also compression of abdominal organs. So that's one type of smoosh. The second type of compression could be breathing into your abdomen. So of course there's a thigh in the way. So it's like you're breathing into your right thigh. And there's 2 more breaths here. Take a big inhale, big exhale, take a deep breath in. Okay, and then you can take both hands onto the floor, back to hands and knees, and switch legs. So left leg forward. I'm changing orientation for demonstration purposes, but you can just step your left foot forward. So your right hand can stay on the ground the whole time. Shift your hips toward your front foot. Of course, that's going to give you a stretch in the hips. And then come up, left hand to thigh. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to roll your navel up toward the ceiling to facilitate the twist. So as you're rolling your belly up, you can use your left hand to hug your thigh into your guts. course, this wrings out the blood in abdomen. This wrings out the lymph in abdomen. You can also then breathe into your abdomen for more pressure. Make that compression really dynamic and alive. Breathe into abdomen a couple more times. Okay, great. And then from there you can release. Hands to the floor, come to hands and knees. Take a deep breath in, arch your back, look up toward the ceiling. Squeeze your shoulder blades into the back. So you're squeezing back body, stretching front body. And then exhale, the reverse is true. You're gonna draw your navel up tight, press your mid back up toward the ceiling, and go back and forth like this from cow to cat a few times. And one more cow, take a deep breath in. Big exhale. Okay, and then release from that, lie on the back. So you'll lie face up. And from here, you're gonna press your low back into the floor, and knees can be bent with your thighs up, or if it feels okay, you can take your legs straight up. Arms will be out to the sides. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, you're gonna reach one arm up toward the opposite, if your knees are bent, past the opposite knee or toward the opposite foot. Now you're gonna keep your low back down as best you can, but you're gonna reach up. And then inhale, you come back down. And then exhale, other arm reaches up past the opposite foot, or if your legs are bent, so past the opposite knee and above it. And you go back and forth like this. Exhale is this lift and twist. Inhale to center, exhale is a lift and a little bit of a twist. Okay, so now that we got the breathing pattern, inhale, head and arms on the floor, exhale, one arm reaches across. What you could do is choose to reach further across. So rather than just up at the toe, past the toe, you can actually reach your one arm as far over as you can, still keeping your low back grounded, so you don't fall over. And then inhale, you come back to center, and then exhale, the other arm reaches further over. There's no specific angle that's the best. It's just like whatever works for you, and whatever allows you to keep your low back grounded. So you're really squeezing abdomen, using our abdominals to squeeze our organs. You can go back and forth like this another few times. Okay, very nice. Then you come back to center, place your feet on the floor, hands next to hips, and as you inhale, you're gonna squeeze your back body to breathe into the front body, and then exhale, you lower down. And you try that a few times, tapping into the midline for the last practice in this sequence. And as you lift your hips up, you squeeze your shoulder blades away from your ears. So you're compressing your back body to stretch the front. Exhale, you lower to the floor. Try that a few more times. Okay, great. And on your next exhale, lower your hips down. Take a breather, big inhale. And exhale, come up to seated and take a couple breaths to notice. We did some stretch, we did some strength, but we did a lot of wringing out, which almost paradoxically, wringing out our tissues encourages our fluid body to move around. So hopefully you feel wringing out actually gives you the at least it gives me the sensations of feeling very, very liquid, very fluid. Notice your back body. Notice your front body. And notice the fluidity of your system. Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for practicing with me, and take care. Namaste.